Hi guys. So yeah, a few people were asking about this build. I got a few messages through the website as well as a few messages through YouTube. This is my max crit Vortex uh, Frostbolt build from Parandus, I believe. Was it Parandus or Prophecy? I don't know. It was one or the other. Um, it's basically the same as what it was before, though the damage was increased. I believe they buffed Vortex's front load damage. As you can see, it's 17k. I believe before it was like 14. This is only on 4 link, mind you. Um, the Frostbolt as well, I think, has a little bit more damage. Technically, this is only a 2 link because it's basically just GMP because it has, the curse on hit, LA weakness. Um, so yeah, I figured I'd show you guys what this build looks like now. Um, and talk about its viability, its downsides, etc. So I'll show you it on this tier 5 map. Um, so you have to remember that when I made this build, I made it specifically for starting the league out. I really wanted to try, these new skills, and so I figured, oh, why not scale them with crit? So that's what I did. Since they're ice skills, I can scale them with crit, and then I can freeze everything on the screen, and it'd be pretty cool. But I really failed in a sense, especially when it comes to the defense of the build. Uh, Unfortunately, the defense side of the build is not very good. Uh, so, while you probably could get the damage to go all the way to endgame with this build, um, you don't have the defense to deal with endgame. Things like Azeri would one-shot you, unless you're like got it, dodging everything. Which is, I guess you could do it that way, but, it's more difficult to play that way. Not to mention, the clear speed of this build, unfortunately, is limited by the projectile speed of Frostbolt, which, as you can see, is not very fast. And watch, I can almost outrun it. In fact, with a flask, I can outrun it. So, it's almost better to self-cast Vortex than to use uh, Ice or Frostbolt. I kind of wish that GGG would, um, you know, uh, increase the projectile speed of Frostbolt, but decrease the damage, so that it would encourage people to use it more as a delivery system for Vortex than to self-cast Vortex. I mean, as you can see, it's kind of fun to just blow up the screen with ice, freeze everything, and, kill everything. I mean, you even freeze bosses, though. Of course, you can't freeze things like Azaro or Azeri. And that is one of the big defenses of this build, is the ability to freeze things. But of course, if you're not in like a map where everything is in front of you or behind you, um, and you have to deal with stuff in a 360-degree radius, you're going to have a little bit more trouble, because you won't be able to freeze everything on the screen. So it's not like a frozen discharge where you can just hit everything around you and freeze it all, and that works as a nice little defense. Anyway, so yeah, as you can see, I mean, the build doesn't lack for damage, that's for sure. I mean, I'm basically one-shotting everything, or rather two-shotting everything, in the sense that I'm hitting it with ice, or frostbolt, and then ice vortex is cleaning it up. I also scaled ice vortex so that most of the damage is coming from the actual hit, the explosion itself, not the damage over time. I believe damage over time is only about 4K, which is pretty pathetic for this level. You could definitely scale that up to some pretty high levels, but I don't see a reason to do that. I don't know, I just like the explosion more, and the dot afterwards is kind of nice. I don't know if you guys noticed, but my ascendancy tree is not completed because I could never do Merc Lab with this character. I couldn't get Assassinate, which gives, you know, Calling Strike when you crit on targets that are below 30%, I believe. Let me see. What does it say? No, it just gives Calling Strike, so it's 10%. And yeah, I believe that would be a really big deal for this build. Though, I mean, I'm basically destroying everything anyway, so. More crit is always nice for a crit build. Let's see if I can freeze Oak. Yeah, freezing Oak a little bit, which is nice. It makes it so that I can dodge him much easier. As you probably noticed, I've also added a Ziri's flask to this build. Just because, you know, not having leech is kind of a problem. Anyway, so yeah, there's a map run. I'll post this up on the build guide. You know, and anyone interested, take a look. I'd suggest, you know, if you're going to try this build, just use it in the beginning of a league, or use it just if you just want to mess around. But, you know, unless you go out of your way to get something like, you know, Acro, or to spec into Eldritch Battery, Mind Over Matter, and Zealot's Oath, you're not going to be viable for endgame. It's just, unfortunately, it's true. Anyway, guys, have a good day.